In the year 2147, humans had begun to explore the stars. They built big ships that could travel far from Earth. Among these brave explorers was Alex, a young human with a strong spirit. He loved adventure and dreamed of discovering new worlds. Alex often imagined what it would be like to meet creatures from other planets. One sunny day, Alex and his team landed on a planet called Silara. This planet was beautiful, with bright blue skies and tall green trees. Strange, colorful flowers bloomed everywhere, filling the air with sweet scents. As Alex stepped out of the ship, he felt excited. He wanted to explore this new world and see what wonders it held. The ship's computer warned the crew to stay together. "Remember," the captain said, "there are rules. We must not touch the aliens if we find them." In the past, humans had conflicts with alien species. Touching an alien could lead to misunderstandings or even war. Alex understood, but his curiosity pushed him to explore. As they walked through the forest, the sounds of birds filled the air. Alex's teammates chatted excitedly, but he felt a different kind of thrill. He wanted to be the first to discover something amazing. They moved deeper into the woods, the trees growing thicker around them. Suddenly, the team heard a rustling sound. Alex turned to see a flash of movement. His heart raced. "What was that?" he whispered. His teammates looked worried. They stayed close together, scanning the trees. Then, out of the shadows, stepped a figure. It was an alien. Zinara, the queen of Silara, appeared before them. She had shimmering skin that glowed in shades of green and blue, like the colors of the forest. Her long hair floated around her, as if it were underwater. Zinara's eyes sparkled with curiosity, reflecting the light of the sun. She was both beautiful and powerful. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He had never seen anything like her. The legends of alien queens he had heard in stories did not compare to the real thing. Zinara looked at the humans with a mix of wonder and caution. She had been told to stay away from humans, as they were forbidden to touch. But something about Alex drew her in. The team was frozen in place. They remembered the captain's warning. No one should approach the alien queen. But Alex felt a strong urge to step forward. His heart told him this was a moment he could not let slip away. He took a deep breath and moved closer. Zinara tilted her head, intrigued by Alex's boldness. She could sense his bravery and curiosity. "You are not afraid," she said, her voice smooth and melodic. Alex was taken aback. How could she speak his language? I'm Alex," he stammered, trying to keep his voice steady. "We come in peace. We just want to explore." Zinara's eyes narrowed slightly. She had heard of humans, their adventures, and their mistakes. Many of her people warned her to be careful, but her curiosity was too strong. "Humans are forbidden here. Touching is not allowed," she reminded him, her tone serious. "I know," Alex replied, his heart pounding. "But I mean no harm. I just want to learn about your world." Zinara studied him closely. She saw the sincerity in his eyes. "There is much to learn," she said softly, "but you must leave this place. It is not safe for you." Just then, Alex's teammates whispered nervously among themselves. They wanted to retreat, fearing for their safety. But Alex felt a connection with Zinara, and he did not want to leave without understanding her world. "Wait, please," Alex pleaded. "I won't touch you. I just want to talk. I want to know more about you and your people." Zinara hesitated, her heart racing. No one had ever spoken to her like this. She was used to power and authority, but Alex made her feel something new, something exciting. "You are bold, human. Most would run away in fear," she said, a small smile forming on her lips. Before she could think too much about it, Zinara decided to take a chance. "Very well, Alex. I will allow you to stay for a short time, but you must keep your distance." Alex's heart soared. "Thank you. I promise I won't get too close." As Zinara led him deeper into the forest, Alex felt a mix of excitement and fear. This was a forbidden world, a place where humans were not supposed to go. But Zenera seemed different from what he had heard. She was not just a queen. She was a person with dreams and hopes. Together, they walked through the vibrant forest, sharing stories about their lives. Alex learned about Zenera's people and their love for nature. Zenera listened to Alex's tales of Earth and its wonders. They spoke for what felt like hours, lost in each other's words, unaware of the dangers surrounding them. Little did they know, their meeting would change everything. Zenera and Alex were stepping into a future filled with uncertainty and risk, but also with the promise of something extraordinary. The encounter. The days passed quickly after Alex's first meeting with Zenera. Each day, he and his team explored more of Celara, but Alex could not stop thinking about the alien queen. He felt a strong connection to her, and he wondered if she felt the same way. Every evening, when the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, he thought of Zenera's glowing skin and bright eyes. Zenera had given him permission to explore her world, but he knew he had to be careful. Their meeting had broken many rules. He often returned to the same spot in the forest where they first met, hoping to see her again. Each time, his heart raced with excitement and fear. What if she didn't come back? One afternoon, as Alex sat under a tall tree, he heard a soft rustle in the leaves. His heart jumped. Could it be her? He stood up and scanned the area. Suddenly, Zenera appeared, looking just as beautiful as he remembered. Her hair flowed around her like a gentle breeze, and her eyes sparkled with life. "Hello, Alex," she said, her voice like music. "I was hoping to find you here." Alex's heart leaped. "Zenera, I'm so glad you came back. I've missed our talks." Zenera smiled, but her expression was serious. "I must be cautious. My people do not understand why I speak to you. They fear humans. They think you will bring trouble." "I promise, I only want to learn," Alex replied earnestly. "I want to know more about your world and your people." Zenera stepped closer but still kept a distance. "Very well, I will share more. But you must be careful. The other queens do not approve of my kindness towards humans." "I understand," Alex said, his voice steady. "I will respect your wishes." As they walked together, Zenera showed Alex the wonders of her world. She led him to a sparkling river that flowed like liquid glass. Brightly colored fish swam in the water, dancing beneath the surface. Zenera knelt down, gently touching the water with her fingers. "This is the river of life," she explained. "It gives energy to our planet and our people." Alex watched in awe as Zenera splashed her hand in the water, sending droplets glistening into the sunlight. "It's beautiful," he exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like it on Earth." Zenera smiled at his wonder. "You have much to learn. Our world is full of magic and life. But remember, it is also fragile. We must protect it." They moved on, and Zenera showed Alex the many plants that grew in the forest. Some glowed softly in the dark, while others sang with the wind. "These plants communicate with each other," she said. "They share stories and warn us of danger." Alex listened intently, fascinated by Zenera's knowledge. He shared stories of Earth's plants and animals too. They laughed and talked, forgetting the dangers of their surroundings. For a moment, they felt as if they were in their own world, free from fear and rules. But soon, the sound of voices broke their peaceful moment. Zenera's face changed. Her expression turned serious. "We must hide," she whispered urgently. Alex's heart raced as they quickly ducked behind a large bush. He held his breath, listening to the voices getting closer. Zenera's people were approaching. They sounded angry, and Alex could hear their shouts. "Where is the queen? She is disobeying the laws," one voice shouted. Zenera clenched her fists, looking worried. "They cannot find me here, Alex. If they see you, it will bring trouble for both of us." Alex nodded, feeling scared. "What should we do?" Zenara took a deep breath. I will create a distraction. You must escape into the forest. I will find you later. No, I don't want to leave you, Alex replied, his voice shaking. I will be safe, I promise, Zenara insisted. You must trust me. If they see you, they will not understand. I cannot let you be harmed. With that, Zenara stepped away from the bush and called out to her people. I am here. Do not worry. Her voice echoed through the trees. Alex watched in awe as Zenara faced her people. She was brave and strong, a true queen. But he felt helpless, knowing that she might face consequences for her choice to protect him. The aliens turned toward her, surprise filling their eyes. Zenara, why are you here? One asked, his voice full of confusion. I was exploring, she said calmly, trying to keep her voice steady. I am the queen, and I will do as I please. The group hesitated, but Alex knew he had to leave. He quietly slipped away, moving deeper into the forest. His heart was heavy, worried for Zenara, but grateful for the moments they had shared. As he ran, he thought about their bond. He realized that this encounter would change everything for both of them. Despite the rules and the danger, he felt that they were meant to meet. He hoped that Zenara would be safe and that they would find a way to be together again. He knew their connection was strong, and he was determined to protect it, no matter the cost. The risk. After that day, Alex couldn't stop thinking about Zenara. He was worried about her safety and what might happen next. Every moment felt heavy with uncertainty. The crew continued to explore Silara, but Alex's heart was no longer in it. He wanted to see Zenara again, to understand the risks they both faced. Zenara had promised to find him, but days passed without any sign of her. Alex would sit alone by the river, waiting, hoping that she would come back. The bright colors of the flowers and the cheerful songs of the birds couldn't lift his spirits. He felt lost without her. One evening, as the sun began to set, Alex heard a rustle in the bushes. His heart raced with excitement and fear. Could it be Zenara? He quickly stood up, straining to see through the trees. Suddenly, Zenara emerged, her face lighting up when she saw him. Alex, she exclaimed, her voice full of joy. I'm so glad to see you. Relief washed over Alex. Zenara, I was so worried. I thought something had happened to you. Zenara looked around, making sure they were alone. I had to be careful. My people are suspicious. They don't understand why I am drawn to you. She took a deep breath, her eyes filled with determination. But I cannot ignore this connection. I must learn more about you. Alex felt a rush of hope. I want to know you too, Zenara. But it's dangerous. What if someone sees us together? I know the risks, Zenara replied, her voice steady. But I want to take that risk. I want to understand humans and show you my world. Together, we can bridge the gap between our people. As they talked, Alex realized how brave Zenara was. She was not just a queen. She was a person willing to fight for what she believed in. What do we do now? He asked, eager to help. Let's go to a secret place, Zenara suggested. There is a hidden cave nearby. It is safe, and we can talk without fear of being seen. Alex nodded, excitement bubbling inside him. Lead the way. Zenara guided him through the forest, taking a path that twisted and turned. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the scent of the blooming flowers. After a short walk, they reached a cave hidden behind thick vines and moss. This is it, Zenara said, pushing aside the vines to reveal the entrance. Inside, the cave was dark, but filled with sparkling crystals that glimmered like stars. It was a magical place. Wow, Alex whispered, stepping inside. This is beautiful. Zenara smiled, her expression softening. This is where I come to think. It feels safe here, away from the eyes of my people. They sat together on the cool stone floor, and Zenara began to share stories about her life as a queen. She spoke of her responsibilities, the pressure to keep her people safe, and the expectations placed upon her. Being a queen is not easy, she admitted. I have to make tough decisions every day. Alex listened intently. He realized how much Zenara carried on her shoulders. You're doing a great job, Zenara. Your people are lucky to have you. Zenara looked at him, her eyes shining. Thank you, Alex. It means a lot to hear that. But I feel trapped by the rules. I want to change things for the better. What do you mean? Alex asked, curious. I want my people to understand humans, she said passionately. I believe that if we work together, we can learn from each other. But my advisors do not see it that way. They fear what they do not know. Alex nodded. I understand. Back on Earth, people sometimes fear what is different, but it doesn't have to be that way. As they talked, the atmosphere in the cave felt charged with possibility. They shared their hopes and dreams, feeling a strong bond grow between them. Alex felt as if he had known Zenara forever, but a sense of worry lingered in the back of his mind. Suddenly, they heard a noise outside the cave. Zenara's expression turned serious. Someone is coming. Alex's heart raced. What do we do? Stay quiet, Zenara whispered urgently. They pressed themselves against the cave wall, holding their breath. Two of Zenara's advisors entered the area, their voices low but clear. We must find her. She has been missing for too long, one advisor said, his tone firm. I know she is disobeying the laws, the other replied. We cannot let her continue this foolishness. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. They were looking for Zenara. If they found her with him, it would mean trouble for both of them. Zenara's eyes widened in fear. We must get out of here. Now, she urged. They quietly slipped out of the cave and into the forest, moving swiftly and silently. The sun was setting, casting long shadows as they ran. Zenara led the way, her instincts guiding them through the trees. As they escaped deeper into the woods, Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. They were risking everything just to be together. This is dangerous, he said, panting slightly. I know, Zenara replied, her expression determined. But I cannot let fear control my life. I will fight for what I believe in, and I believe in us. With those words, Alex felt a surge of courage. They were two different beings, fighting against the odds. Together, they could face anything. But as they raced through the forest, both knew that their connection came with a price. The risks were growing, and the challenges ahead would test their bond in ways they could not yet imagine. Breaking the rules. The forest was quiet as Alex and Zenara hid among the trees. They had escaped the advisors, but their hearts were still racing. Zenara glanced at Alex, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and excitement. We need to find a place to talk, she said softly. Somewhere safe. Alex nodded, still catching his breath. What about that cave? We could go back there. Zenara considered it for a moment. Yes, but we must be very careful. If they find us again, I do not know what will happen. They quickly made their way back to the cave, keeping an eye out for any signs of Zenara's people. Once inside, they both let out a sigh of relief. The cave felt like a sanctuary, a hidden world where they could share their thoughts without fear of being seen. Zenara, Alex began, looking at her with concern. Are you sure this is worth it? You could get in serious trouble for talking to me. I know, she replied, her voice steady. But I cannot ignore what I feel. You are different, Alex. You make me see the world in a new way. Alex felt warmth in his chest at her words. I feel the same way about you. I want to understand your world and help in any way I can. Zenara smiled, and for a moment, the tension melted away. Then let us make the most of our time together, she said. There is so much more I want to show you. As they talked and shared stories, the air around them felt electric. Zenara's laughter echoed in the cave, and Alex couldn't help but smile. They were breaking the rules, but in that moment, it felt right. Suddenly, Zenara stood up, her eyes bright with excitement. I want to show you the heart of Silara. It is a place where the energy of our planet flows strongest. But we must be careful. It is deep in the forest and far from prying eyes. Let's go, Alex replied, his heart racing with anticipation. Zinara led the way, weaving through the trees and guiding Alex over rocks and roots. The path was challenging, but they moved quickly, eager to reach their destination. As they walked, Zinara explained the importance of the heart of Silara. It is the source of life for our people. It gives us strength and connects us to the land. What does it look like? Alex asked, intrigued. You will see, Zinara said with a smile. After a while, they'd arrived at a clearing. In the center stood a massive tree with glowing leaves, pulsating with light. The air felt alive, buzzing with energy. Alex gasped, taken aback by the beauty of it all. This is incredible. Zinara nodded, her eyes shining. This is the heart of Silara. It is where our energy flows and where we connect with the spirit of our planet. Alex stepped closer to the tree, reaching out to touch the glowing bark. It feels warm, he said in awe. I can feel the energy. Zinara joined him, placing her hand on the tree beside his. This place is sacred. It has been here for centuries, protecting our people. In that moment, something magical happened. As they touched the tree, a pulse of energy flowed through them. Alex felt a rush of warmth and light, as if the very essence of Silara was wrapping around him. He glanced at Zinara, and they shared a moment of pure connection. But then, a loud rustling came from the bushes nearby. Zinara pulled her hand away, panic flashing in her eyes. We must hide, she whispered urgently. Alex's heart dropped as they scrambled behind the massive tree, holding their breath. The sound of footsteps grew louder, and soon, several of Zinara's advisors appeared, their faces grim. Where is she? One of the advisors demanded. We must find the queen. I told you she was breaking the rules. Another said, anger rising in his voice. If we do not act, she will put us all in danger. Zinara looked at Alex, her eyes filled with fear. They cannot find us here. They cannot know what we have done. As the advisors searched the area, Alex felt a mix of fear and defiance. He knew they were risking everything by being together, but he also felt stronger than ever. Zinara, he whispered, we can't let them stop us. We have to fight for what we believe in. Zinara nodded, her determination shining through her fear. You are right. We cannot let fear control our lives. Just then, one of the advisors stopped near the tree. I think she is close, he said, his voice low. Keep looking. Zinara held her breath as the advisor moved closer. We must be quiet, she urged. As the advisors continued to search, Alex felt the energy of the heart of Silara pulsing around them. It gave him courage. He realized that breaking the rules was not just about them. It was about creating a new future where humans and aliens could understand each other. After what felt like an eternity, the advisors finally moved away, their voices fading into the distance. Zinara let out a sigh of relief, but her face was still tense. We cannot stay here much longer, she said. We need a plan. Alex looked at her, his heart racing. What if we gather our people? Maybe if they see how strong our bond is, they will understand. Zinara's eyes sparkled with hope. That could work. We must convince them that unity is our strength, not fear. They stood together, determination in their hearts. They had crossed a line, but it was a line worth crossing. Together, they would fight for a new beginning, no matter the risks involved. Consequences. The sun was setting as Alex and Zinara made their way back through the forest. They had narrowly escaped the advisors, but a heavy feeling settled in the pit of Alex's stomach. The thrill of their adventure was overshadowed by the knowledge that they were breaking the rules of Zinara's world. Zinara, Alex said quietly, what will happen if your people find out about us? What if they punish you for what we've done? The argument escalated, and Alex's heart sank. He felt helpless, knowing that Zenara was facing the consequences of their choices. He wished he could be there to support her, to help her fight for their bond. Finally, the door swung open, and Zenara returned, her expression tense. "They are angry, but I think they are starting to understand," she said, her voice shaky. "What did they say?" Alex asked, stepping closer. "They want to meet with you," Zenara said, her eyes wide with surprise. "They want to know why I am so drawn to humans. They think we should talk." Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. "What will they want from me?" "I don't know," Zenara replied. "But this could be our chance. We must be honest with them. If we can show them that our connection is real, it might change everything." Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what lay ahead. "I'm ready," he said, determination filling his voice. "Let's do this together." As they prepared to face Zenara's advisors, both knew the risks were high. They had crossed the line into unknown territory, and the consequences of their actions would be felt by both of their worlds. Alliance and conflict. The sun had set, casting a dim light over the tower as Zenara and Alex prepared to meet her advisors. Both were filled with a mix of hope and anxiety. They knew this meeting could change everything, but the risks were still high. "Are you ready?" Zenara asked, her voice steady despite the worry in her eyes. "I am," Alex replied, trying to sound confident. "But what if they don't accept me?" Zenara stepped closer, placing a hand on his arm. "Remember, we are fighting for a new future. We must show them our bond and how it can bring our worlds together." Taking a deep breath, they walked out of the room together. The advisors waited in the main hall, their faces stern and serious. As Zenara and Alex entered, the tension in the air was thick. "Your Majesty, you have returned," one advisor said, trying to mask his anger. "We were worried for your safety. You must understand, your actions have consequences." Zenara nodded, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. "I understand your concerns, but I have brought someone here who can help us move forward." The advisors exchanged glances, skepticism written on their faces. "Help? How can a human help us?" one advisor sneered. Alex felt a surge of frustration, but held his ground. "I know that humans and Solarians have different ways of living, but I believe we can learn from each other. Together, we can create a better future." The advisors shifted, some whispering to each other, while others frowned. Zenara stepped forward, her voice rising above the murmurs. "I have seen the way humans think, the way they care for each other. They are not our enemies." One of the advisors, a tall figure with a stern expression, crossed his arms. "And what makes you think they will not harm us? Your relationship with this human could endanger our people." Alex could feel the weight of the advisor's words. "I do not want to harm anyone. I came here to learn and to build a bridge between our worlds." The advisors remained silent, and Alex took a deep breath, desperate to get through to them. "If you let me show you, I promise you will see. There is much we can achieve together." Zenara looked at her advisors, hoping they would understand. "We must have faith in each other. If we do not try, we will never know what is possible." Finally, the head advisor spoke, his voice heavy with skepticism. "Very well, we will listen. But know this, Zenara. If this human proves to be a threat, the consequences will fall on you." Zenara's heart sank, but she nodded. "I understand. But I believe Alex can bring us together." With that, the advisors reluctantly agreed to hear Alex's ideas. He began to explain how humans and Solarians could share knowledge, technologies, and cultures. He spoke passionately about cooperation and understanding. As he talked, he could see some of the advisors starting to listen, their expressions softening slightly. However, not everyone was convinced. One advisor, a woman with sharp features, interrupted. "You speak of peace, but how can we trust a human? Our people have lived in isolation for too long. You do not know our ways. Zenera spoke up. That is why we must work together. Alex and I can learn from you, just as you can learn from us. But we need to open our minds and hearts. The head advisor looked at Alex, his gaze piercing. What do you propose we do? Alex felt a surge of determination. Let's start with something simple. A cultural exchange program. We can send a small group of humans to Xelara and invite Xelarians to visit Earth. They can see how we live and learn from each other. The advisors murmured among themselves. Some nodded, while others shook their heads in doubt. The head advisor considered Alex's proposal. This is a bold idea. But if it fails, it could be disastrous for both our peoples. I understand the risks, Alex replied, meeting the advisor's gaze. But the only way to move forward is to take that leap. If we want to build a future together, we have to trust each other. Zenera stood beside him, her presence strong and unwavering. We can make this work, but we need your support. After what felt like an eternity, the head advisor finally nodded slowly. We will give your proposal a chance, but under strict conditions. We will send a small delegation to Earth first. If they return with positive reports, we will consider further actions. Relief washed over Alex, but he knew this was just the beginning. Thank you, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. However, not all of the advisors were pleased with the decision. The sharp-featured advisor stepped forward, her voice cold. This is a mistake. We are opening our doors to a potential threat. You do not know what humans are capable of. Zenera's expression hardened. We cannot let fear dictate our future. It is time for us to break free from the old ways. The advisor glared at Zenera, her eyes filled with anger. You are being reckless, and one day you will regret it. With that, the tension in the room grew thick. Zenera and Alex stood firm, ready to face whatever came next. They had taken a bold step forward, but the conflict within Zenera's world was far from over. As they left the hall, Alex turned to Zenera, his heart pounding. Do you think they will accept this change? Zenera sighed, her eyes filled with determination. I hope so, but we must be prepared for anything. Not everyone will agree with us, and there will be those who fight against our alliance. Alex nodded, understanding the weight of their journey ahead. Together, they were fighting against old beliefs, and the road would be filled with challenges. But they were willing to face those challenges side by side. In that moment, they knew their bond was strong enough to withstand the storms ahead. They were ready to face the consequences of their choices, determined to build a new future for both their worlds. A new beginning. The day had finally arrived. Alex and Zenera stood together at the spaceport, surrounded by a mixture of excitement and nervousness. They had spent weeks preparing for this moment, introducing a small group of Xelarian advisors to Earth. It was a chance to prove that humans and Xelarians could work together, and it was also a test of their alliance. Zenera looked around at the busy port, her heart racing. Are you ready for this? She asked, glancing at Alex. I am, Alex replied, trying to keep his voice steady. But I can't help feeling anxious. What if they don't like Earth? What if they refuse to see our way of life? Zenera placed a reassuring hand on his arm. We will show them our world. We will show them that we are not so different after all. Remember, they need to see how we live to understand. As they prepared to board the ship, Zenera's advisors arrived. There were 5 of them, each wearing traditional Xelarian clothing that shimmered in the sunlight. Alex felt a surge of pride as Zenera stood confidently beside him. Together, they were about to take a huge step for both their peoples. The head advisor, who had been skeptical of their alliance, looked at Alex with a mix of curiosity and caution. This is a great risk we are taking, he said. If we fail, it could harm our relationship. Zenera stepped forward. We will not fail. We have worked hard to prepare, and I believe our bond can bring about great change. Let us show you the best of humanity. With that, they boarded the ship. The Xelarians were fascinated by the technology and the way the ship operated. Alex smiled as he watched their eyes light up with wonder. He knew this was just the beginning. The journey to Earth was filled with laughter and questions. Zinara and Alex took turns explaining their worlds, sharing stories of their cultures, and discussing their hopes for the future. By the time they landed, the atmosphere on the ship had shifted from skepticism to excitement. As the ship touched down, Alex looked out the window, feeling proud to show Zinara's advisors his home. "Welcome to Earth," he said, grinning. The group stepped off the ship, and the bright sunlight greeted them. They were in a small city filled with people, cars, and sounds that buzzed with life. Alex felt a sense of pride wash over him as he introduced his world to Zinara and her advisors. "Let's start with the park," he suggested. "It's a peaceful place, and I think you will enjoy it." As they walked through the park, the Xelarians looked around in awe. They saw children playing, families enjoying picnics, and friends laughing together. "This is a beautiful place," one advisor said, clearly impressed. "Your people seem to value community." "Yes," Alex replied. "Community is very important to us. We believe in supporting one another." They continued their tour, visiting local markets, museums, and restaurants. The Xelarians tasted different foods, experiencing flavors they had never known. At each stop, Alex explained the significance of each place, emphasizing the values of diversity and inclusion. As the day went on, Alex noticed a change in the advisors. They were starting to relax, their earlier doubts fading away. Laughter filled the air as they shared stories and enjoyed each other's company. By evening, they gathered for a dinner that Alex had organized. Zinara and her advisors were seated around a large table filled with various dishes. The atmosphere was lively, filled with conversations about their experiences and cultures. "Thank you for showing us your world," the head advisor said, raising a glass. "I must admit, I was wrong to doubt your intentions. This has been an eye-opening experience." Zinara smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "This is just the beginning. Together, we can build a future where our worlds thrive side by side." Alex looked at Zinara, his heart full. They had faced many challenges, but their journey was leading them to something new and beautiful. He turned to the advisors. "We hope this is the start of a strong alliance between our peoples. We have so much to learn from each other." As the night continued, they shared laughter and stories, building connections that went beyond their differences. For the first time, it felt like they were all part of something greater. The next day, they returned to the spaceport for the Xelarians to head back home. There was a sense of sadness, but also excitement for the future. The head advisor spoke again, this time with a sense of conviction. "We must share what we have learned with our people. They need to know about this alliance and how we can grow together." Zinara nodded, her eyes shining. "Yes, together, we can change the narrative. We can show that unity is strength." As the Xelarians boarded their ship, Alex felt a wave of hope. This was a new beginning, not just for him and Zinara, but for both their worlds. They had broken the barriers of fear and mistrust, paving the way for a brighter future. As the ship lifted off, Alex and Zinara stood side by side, watching it disappear into the sky. "We did it," Alex said, turning to Zinara. "We really did it." "Yes," Zinara replied, her heart full of joy. "And this is only the start. There will be challenges ahead, but together, we can face anything." They knew the road ahead would not be easy, but they were ready to face it together. With their hearts united and their vision clear, they had opened the door to a new future where humans and Xelarians could coexist, learn, and grow together. As they left the spaceport, hand in hand, they embraced the promise of tomorrow. It was the dawn of a new era, a journey of alliance, understanding, and love.